But we've just heard about what's important about Easter from those very first witnesses. And that's what we celebrate every Easter. But I thought to start the sermon this day, I would help us to hear and see a little bit about what we hear from some other witnesses about Easter and its importance. So right now we're going to show a very brief video about some preschoolers, some school children, who are going to share with you what they find to be important about Easter.
What do you like about Easter?
Easter Bunny. I like the candy. Easter bunnies and Easter eggs. The Easter Bunny comes and leaves us goodies on the fireplace. Chocolate. Chocolate bunnies. And eggs. Chocolate bars. Candy. Eggs. You get to hide the Easter eggs. You get to find them, the Easter bunny. Easter egg hunting. Yeah, that's another one of my favorite things. We find our Easter baskets. It's Easter egg hunt. We're gonna have lots of fun to celebrate and have Jesus.
How do you eat a chocolate-covered bunny?
Okay.
You bite his head off, and then his legs, and then arms, and then you just chew all around it.
What do you eat first?
The ears. I would eat the legs, the ears. I would eat the top. The head. Just bite into it and chew it up and say yum. I would make a hole in the bottom and then I would crush it into pieces and I
Well, friends, there you have it. From their own blessed little mouths, kids talk about Easter. And what do they say? Well, for the most part, it's about the candy and the Easter bunny and eggs and egg hunting and chocolate and eating the ears and the legs and the head first. You see, for all children, all this stuff is just way more interesting than Jesus. Although Jesus did get a nod from at least one child up there. Candy and eggs and Easter baskets and chocolate are enough to make Easter fun and Easter memorable. And although Easter hasn't gotten to the point of having as many consumer and cultural distractions as Christmas, sometimes it's the same way for adults too. Easter is about lilies and about new clothes, new hats, family visits, Easter dinners and meals, a huge bite of Godiva chocolate bunny after giving up chocolate for 40 days of Lent. And thankfully, showing up at worship on Easter Sunday is still, for most of us, part of the Easter gig. We come to worship out of duty or habit, and some of us are even hoping against hope to meet the living Lord of the universe, to connect with Jesus Christ and the one who raised him to life. We come, at least some of us, maybe most of us, who are older than preschool and elementary school age, because we have experienced it. You and I have lived long enough to experience the dark night of the soul, the heart-wrenching grief, the devastating disappointments, smothering guilt, shame, fear, distress. You and I come to church at Easter because we know that we need more. We need more than chocolate Easter bunnies and Easter egg hunts to see us through our daily lives and to bring us joy and to give us hope. As wonderful and cute as those Easter answers are on the YouTube video that we just watched, I wonder when they too will yearn for more. Maybe it will be when they're bullied at school and feel like they have no one to turn to. Maybe it will be when their best friend betrays them, or when a person that they built their whole life around lets them down. Or will it be that day when they look into the mirror and see that they themselves are the betrayer, the heartbreaker, and they can never undo the damage that they have done? Or perhaps they'll be on a mission trip and meet people who own virtually nothing, and yet who possess a joy that they have never known, and they themselves feel a darkness and impoverishment of soul. Or will it be when the doctor comes in the room with a faraway look and says, "We found something serious"? Maybe it will be the day that these children have to sell their remaining parents' belongings and house and put the parent in a nursing home and endure the reality that they are now their parents' parent. Or will it be the day when their life's work ends with a memo from HR and someone standing next to them watching them clean out their desks? Or will it be when they encounter senseless violence, meanness, prejudice that shows once again how cruel humans can be to each other? On these and countless other occasions, as these YouTube children grow up, as you and I live, we need more. We need much more than chocolate bunnies and Easter baskets and egg hunts. And at these moments, and the many, many more like them, is exactly the time when we really need to know what Easter is all about. My guess is that Mary Magdalene and Joanna and Mary, the mother of James, plus at least 2 other unnamed women, needed more to that first Easter. It was pitch black outside. The threat of violence and fear engulfed them. The finality of the graveyard tore their hearts in two. Once they had experienced the fullness of life following and learning from this meek but amazing rabbi named Jesus, they had reoriented their whole lives, their whole beings around him. The light that had once surrounded them had been snuffed out on a cross on Friday. The dreams and hopes and anticipation that Jesus was the Messiah had been dashed. Not only was it dark in the world that first Easter morning, but it was dark in each woman's soul. Where there had once shined hope, there was now despair. And while it was dark, the women came to the tomb with spices to anoint the body of Jesus and to call it all to an inglorious end. In the midst of the darkness of their lives, these women were shocked, amazed, overwhelmed, perplexed, awed by the reality, the more of Easter. And these 5 women's stories have become the basis of the Christian story. It is these women's story of Easter that you and I and the 2.2 billion Christians all over the earth today remember and celebrate together in worship. The story and experience of these women is the single most important reason that you and I ever get together on any Sunday of the year or any other day of the week for that matter. It is the heartbeat of the Christian community. It's the hope to which we cling and the promise upon which we stand. It is the very essence of what it means to be a Christian. So what is it? What did those women find? Well, those women went to anoint Jesus' dead body and to end the Jesus chapter in their lives and the life of the world with as much dignity as was possible for a tortured, executed criminal of the state and of religion who had been buried 3 days before. But when the women got to the tomb, they found that the stone that had sealed the door was rolled away, and going inside they found nothing. And that nothing was everything. You see, they had thought that in the end is only death and decay. After all, if you can't trust the dead to stay dead, then what can you trust? But what they found was at the end, in the final analysis, when it's all said and done, Easter, God's plan for Jesus, and through him, you and me and all creation, is about life. God's final word is not death, but resurrection.